Well, hello there. My name is Mark Miles, and I love helping trainers, presenters, facilitators really take their results to the next level. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about the magic numbers of training. The magic numbers of training. Now, what I mean by that is that there are some fundamental numbers that we need to be aware of that really impact how we need to deliver our training and how we need to believe that people actually learn things and how long it actually takes people to actually develop skills. So in today's video, I want to cover some fundamental numbers that you need to be aware of in order to really know if your learners are learning something and just to be aware of what it actually takes to create training opportunities and create training finalization, so to speak. So definitely get ready, grab a pen and write these numbers down. Now, these numbers have come from my own personal research in my 9.5 years of teaching and training and writing workshops for people in the areas of leadership, in the areas of public speaking, in the areas of training and development. So the first number that I want to talk about is the number of three. Number three. All right. So if you're writing and taking notes, write down the number three. So number three is basically the number of times that it needs to take or does take for someone to get something accurate or get it right. Now, what we mean by this is if you are teaching a skill or a soft skill or even a hard skill, you need to be aware that the person doesn't get it right on the first go generally. They generally, the first time, they'll mess it up a little bit. Then the second time, they'll really mess it up. And then the third time, they'll get it right. All right. Now, we need to be aware that the first time, they're just trying to find their feet, so to speak. Second time, they are going to make a pronounced error. And then the third time, they'll get it right, so to speak. And they'll get it closer to being on target or what you are looking for them to be able to do. So if you're teaching something, please be aware that it's going to take those three attempts for someone to actually get closer to actually getting it right. All right, so three for accuracy. Next number that you need to be aware of is the number 10. The number 10. Now, I like to say the number 10 equates to the number of times that someone needs to be able to develop the confidence to be able to do it by themselves unsupervised. Unsupervised, i.e., without any support mechanisms in their proximity. So the number 10 is the number of times that someone needs to be able to do something or has done something before they reach a point where they can feel confident doing something unsupervised. So you really want to be aware of that before you send someone out to the workplace or out into the arena of performance, so to speak, and just if they've done maybe 4 or 5 times, then you send them out. They're probably going to come back quite battle scarred and with lots of wounds, so to speak. They may actually lose a lot of confidence. So be aware that the number 10 is the number of times that someone needs to have done something before they're going to feel confident to go out and do it unsupervised. Now, the next number that I want you to be aware of is the number 100. Number 100. Now, this number is the number of times that someone needs to have done something before they start to feel a sense of accomplishment and mastery around the topic. Now, I'm very careful when I say the word mastery because I believe that mastery is never achieved. Mastery is actually the commitment to actually develop the skills over a lifetime and be willing to walk that journey. Mastery is the decision and the willingness to walk the journey. And we've often heard the number of 10,000 hours that's often quoted by Malcolm Gladwell that was discovered in his book. But essentially, 10,000 hours, yes, it's valid, but it's also the number of reps or the number of times that someone actually does something that really matters at the end of the day and how much deliberate practice they actually get in. All right. So just to recap so far, we've got the number 3 for accuracy. We've got the number 10 for unsupervised practice. And then we got 100 for someone to feel a real sense of accomplishment and a sense of mastery, and then a willingness to embark that lifelong journey. Next numbers that I really want you to be aware of is the number 19 and 64. 19. Now, number 19 is the number of times that someone needs to hear something for it to go from the short-term memory to the long-term memory. So they, in a training session, as an audience member, they need to see a concept or an idea or a fact or a hear of something that you say a minimum of 19 times before it's going to go from the short-term memory to the long-term memory. So you need to be as creative as possible in how you deliver your content and be able to repeat ideas and exposure of ideas as many times as possible so that people hear concepts and it really sinks in. Now, the next number is 64. 64, this number comes from research that the Air Force did on the number of times that someone needs to do something before it becomes muscle memory. And this was studied and taken out from research they did with fighter pilots. But the number 64, the number of times someone needs to do something, whether it's a soft skill or a mechanical skill or a hard skill, whatever we want to call it, before it goes into muscle memory. So, what I invite you and encourage you to start to think, well, if those numbers existed, 19, the number of times someone needs to hear something, and 64, the number of times that someone needs to do something and get their reps in, so to speak, before it goes into muscle memory and natural habits that we develop, how are you going to change your training? How are you going to adapt your training? How are you going to modify your training to really be aware of these critical numbers? So, just to recap, we have 3 for accuracy. We had 10 times for someone to develop the unsupervised abilities, so to speak. We got 100 for a sense of accomplishment and to embark on that mastery. And then we got 19 times someone to hear something for it to be remembered. And last of all, we got 64 times to go into muscle memory. Now, you may agree or disagree with these numbers. At the end of the day, we all unconsciously know that the number of times someone needs to experience something is typically a lot higher than we often think. And we often fall into the trap of thinking they've heard it once, they've done it once, that's enough. Well, let's reframe that thinking and let's really chase after good quality deliberate practice and intentional crafting of messages so that people walk away from our training sessions and not just hear it, but remember it and go away and use it. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share around. And let's keep empowering trainers to be the very best that they can as we transform training in Australia and on the planet. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.